Okay, let's go ahead. Check. Is this on? Can you hear me all right? Yeah? All right, cool. Oh, let me talk to, okay. Okay, in accordance with Open Public Meetings, NJSA 10-4-6, adequate notification of this meeting has been provided by advertising in the Courier News and posting notice in the Board of Education Administration Building and District Schools, and filing notice with the Borough Clerk. I hereby call to order the regular public meeting Tuesday, May 5th, 2026, in the Lincoln Middle School Cafetorium, 400 Dunellen Avenue, at 7:04 p.m. This meeting is broadcast live. For details, check www.dunellenschools.org. Moving on to item number 2 on our agenda, roll call. Mr. Pepe, could you please call the roll?
Mr. Anderson,
Present.
Mrs. Condit is not here. Ms. Ibach is not here. Dr. Gendrano,
Present.
Mr. Mitchell,
Present.
Mrs. Moore,
Present.
Mr. Satanoy,
Present.
Ms. Schimpf is not here. Mrs. Shep,
Present.
we do have a quorum.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Pepe. Moving on to item number 3, executive session. The Dunellen Board of Education will now adjourn into executive session to discuss items that fall within the specific exceptions to the Open Public Meetings Act, CNJSA 10-4-12B. The confidential matters discussed by the board during this executive session include items related to individual privacy, collective bargaining agreements, pending or anticipated litigation, as well as personnel. Any discussion that does not need to remain confidential will be made public as soon as it is practical. Minutes of the executive session will not be disclosed until the need for confidentiality no longer exists. All individuals who may be discussed in executive session have been adequately notified. Action will take place after the conclusion of the executive session. So, may I have a motion to move into executive session, please?
Move to go to exec. Seconded.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, see you in about 30. Okay, cool. Okay, we are back. Welcome, welcome. So, moving on. Oh, so first of all, looking for a motion to come back to public.
Move to go back to public. Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Is that? 1, 2. Okay. All right. So, moving on to item number 4 on the agenda. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Flags this way. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will you all please remain standing for a moment of reflection and respect for our troops serving throughout the world, our troops who have served and our troops who have made the ultimate sacrifice in the name of our United States of America. Thank you. Moving on to item number 5, student recognition. I'll turn the floor over to Mr. Ross.
Thank you, Dr. Gendrano. Good evening, everyone. It's wonderful to see you all here. Very excited about the Student of the Month recognition for May. Student of the Month is something that we instituted a number of years ago to celebrate wonderful achievements and accolades of students at each grade level and in the special areas at Faber who are recognized each month at the board meeting. So what we're going to do is we're going to have each of the building administrators come up one by one. They're going to speak about each of the students, and the students will come up and receive a certificate, and then they're going to stand in front of the step and repeat, which we're going to bring into the middle. When we're done with all the students for one of the schools, we'll pause for a moment, and then you can stand up, and you can go into the aisle, take a picture, take your time. We want to make sure everybody gets a good photo op. And then at the end of the meeting, end of that section, we'll break so that everybody can take some good family photos and other types of things. All right? So without further ado, we're going to get started at Faber Elementary School, and we have Supervisor of Early Childhood Education, Ms. Van Ross.
Okay, I'm so happy to be here to present the Students of the Month at Faber. We'll start with our student nominated by the special area teachers. Alexa Espinoza, come on up. The teachers say that Alexa is a joy to teach and brings a positive attitude into the classroom every day. She is consistently helpful and kind to both classmates and teachers, always willing to lend a hand and offer encouragement. What stands out the most is her strong work ethic. She works hard, puts in her best effort, never gives up, even when something is challenging. She takes pride in doing her best and continues to grow as a learner. She's respectful and creative, bringing thoughtful ideas and originality to her work. Her dedication to learning and being a positive member of our classroom community does not go unnoticed. We're proud of you, Alexa. Congratulations. Keep up the good work. Okay, our 5th grade student is Helen Salazar from Mr. Burry and Ms. DeSosa's class. Yeah, we all can stay up here, so we'll take a group shot at the end. Okay, Helen, so I think Mr. Burry is the one writing. He says, I've had the pleasure of having Helen in my homeroom 2 years in a row. I so thoroughly enjoy her presence every day. She is one of the warmest and kindest children I've ever met. There's not a day that I haven't seen Helen smiling and laughing and enjoying her friends and life in general. She's one of the hardest workers at Faber without ever saying a word about it. Humility is not lost on Helen. She's made significant progress each year to the point where she's now oftentimes the helper in the room. And he's confident that she will have success at Lincoln and beyond. The class motto is a little better every day, and Helen has embraced it and made herself the embodiment of just that. We're very proud to have worked with Helen these last 2 years and truly miss seeing her every morning. She has definitely brought her joy into our lives, and we're thankful for that We're excited and inspired by the great things that you're going to do in the world. Congratulations. Okay, our fourth grade student is Camilla Curicon from Mr. Sosa and Mr. Burry's class. Okay, Camilla. Camilla has many outstanding traits that qualify her as Student of the Month. She gets along with all of her peers. If she sees that a classmate is frustrated or alone, she's always ready to help them. She's attentive in class and always participates. She's organized and has good work habits. She's kind to everyone and works well, whether she's working independently, with a partner, or a small group. She always strives for academic excellence. She brings a smile and a positive attitude to our classroom each day, and we're lucky to have her as a student and watch her grow. Congratulations, Camilla. Our third grade student is Eliana Moreta Herrera from Miss Schwarthofer writes, I've seen such positive change in Eliana over the last few weeks. She's really stepped up her game and is making a genuine effort in everything she does. She's trying her best academically, participating more in her small groups, and working well with her peers. She's also been a big help in the classroom and takes pride in her work and choices. What stands out most is how she approaches challenges head on and is truly growing from them. She doesn't give up, and she's showing more confidence each day. We're very proud of the progress you've made and the effort you continue to put in. We have another third grade student, Marvin Romero Martinez from Miss Lowry's class. So, oh, there he is. All right. Marvin is a very sweet, kind, and compassionate student. He's always making sure his friends are okay and always willing to share his markers with his friends when they don't have any. Marvin works hard in class and raised his iReady score for math by 88 points. Nice. Woohoo. He's very happy, and he loves to have fun, and he's eager to learn and always tries his hardest to do the best he can. We're excited to have Marvin as our Student of the Month. Congrats. Okay, our second grader, Liana Ubaldo from Miss Badalado's class. There she is. All right, Liana, she's a hardworking and motivated student who approaches tasks with care and attention. She's conscientious and kind, often showing generosity and a readiness to help classmates. Her leadership in the classroom encourages others to try their best. Her positive attitude and steady effort make her a strong role model for peers. Congrats. Good job, Liana. To our first grader, Sofia Ventura Flores. There she is. From Mr. Wilkins's class. Sophia is kind, respectful, and responsible. She's caring toward her classmates, always does the right thing, and she always lends a hand to any student in our classroom. She's one of the first students to follow class routines and directions. Nice. She's eager to learn, and she's kind to everyone she meets. She's willing to help others, whether it's with academics or with the routines. Congratulations, Sophia. Okay, kindergartner Sadie Reedy from Miss DeVito's class. All right, Sadie is a wonderful role model in our classroom. She comes to school each day ready to learn, always tries her best, and shows kindness to everyone around her. Sadie listens carefully, follows directions, and works hard to complete her work. Sadie greets me every morning with a compliment and a friendly hello. She makes coming to school enjoyable. I'm so proud of her. Mrs. DeVito. Okay, and last but not least, our preschooler, Summer Davies. Come on up. All right, Summer. Summer is an exemplary student. She's bright, hardworking, empathetic, and helpful to everyone around her. She always does her best and encourages others in the classroom to do the same. She is an excellent role model that treats everyone with kindness and respect. We're thrilled to watch her grow and have her in the classroom. Congratulations, Summer. Okay, can we come together for a picture? Marvin is representing the boys, right? Nice job.
Yeah, also, parents, you should just be aware that we have a very generous gift from Warrior Fitness for all of our students of the month. It's, what is it, a free class? Free class that was very generously donated by them. So thank you to our friends at Warriors Fitness. So I'm going to bring up Ms. Caulfield now from Lincoln Middle School.
Hello, everyone. Congratulations, all students of the month. I saw all three of my students here tonight, so I'm excited. I'm going to start with our 6th grade student, Emily Cardenas. Can you come up? Emily puts 100% effort into all of her work. She's eager to learn, ready to share experiences, and brings positivity to the classroom each and every day. She works well with peers and often serves as a leader during group work. Emily is very conscientious about the quality of her work, which is evident by her grades. She is a true role model in the LMS community and always strives to do the right thing and help others, even if it's not necessarily what's most convenient for Emily. Congratulations, Emily. Just stay right here, okay? Our next student is 7th grader Lauren Mack. Lauren is an exceptionally friendly student who always has a smile on her face. She consistently shows kindness to both her peers and her teachers. Lauren is respectful, attentive, and puts forth a strong effort in all of her work. She has shown great improvement in her grades this year and was recently recognized in the Honor Roll Assembly. In addition to her academic contributions, her teachers also noted she brings a great sense of humor into their classes each day. Lauren also works well with others, making her a wonderful role model and a deserving Student of the Month. Congratulations, Lauren. And our 8th grade student, we have Thomas Chavez Pinto. Can you come up? Our 8th grade student of the month, Thomas, has achieved high honor roll all 3 marking periods. His teachers all commented that he's a pleasure to have in class, so shows interest and enthusiasm in learning, and the quality of his work is excellent. Thomas is an excellent student, very deserving of this recognition, as he consistently participates in class and shows a true desire to learn and participate in all of his academic classes. Thomas asks thoughtful questions and takes his learning very seriously. In addition to his academic strengths, he is extremely kind and respectful to both his peers and teachers. He stands out for being notably caring. He often checks in and asks others how they're doing. He is also always willing to help others, supporting classmates when they need it. This year, Thomas is a member of the track and field team, competing in the hurdles, sprints ranging from the 100 to the 400, and even has been a member on the 4x100 team relay. Thomas is a positive presence in and outside of the classroom and a great role model for others. Congratulations, Thomas. Okay, we're going to take a picture, okay?
Parents, feel free to come up to the front, grab a picture. All right, last but not least, we have Miss Ashley Powell from Dunellen High School.
Hi, good evening, everyone. All right, so we're going to start with our 9th grade Student of the Month for May, Kayla Kalinsky. So it's my pleasure to recognize our May Student of the Month for 9th grade, Kayla Kalinsky. Kayla is a well-rounded student who consistently demonstrates dedication both in and outside of the classroom. She's an active member of the drama club and recently took on a leading role in the spring musical. Academically, Kayla is a consistent honor roll student, and her teachers describe her as a pleasure to have in class. In addition, she's a committed student athlete. She shared with me it's softball season. Let's go Destroyers. Balancing her responsibilities with maturity and determination. Congratulations to you, Kayla. Way to go. All right, now our 10th grade Student of the Month, Alan Hernandez Ramirez. It's my pleasure to recognize our May Student of the Month for the 10th grade, Alan Hernandez Ramirez. Alan is an honor roll student who consistently demonstrates a strong commitment to his academic success. His teachers note that he actively participates in class, shows genuine interest and enthusiasm for learning, and remains focused on his studies each day. Congratulations, Alan. Our 11th grade Student of the Month, William Gannum, is not here, but I will read about him. Let's give him a round of applause. Will has a track meet, so that's why he's not here. So it's my pleasure to recognize our May Student of the Month for the 11th grade, Will Gannum. I had the privilege of teaching Will both his freshman year and again this year in our Leadership for Life class, where he consistently demonstrates strong leadership in and out of the classroom. Will is a dedicated student athlete, participating in both basketball and soccer and track, and his teachers commend him for his outstanding work ethic. Way to go, Will. And last but not least, our 12th grade Student of the Month, Gabriela Rosas Gonzalez. Come on, Gabby. It's my pleasure to recognize our May Student of the Month for the 12th grade and soon-to-be graduate, Gabriela Rosas Gonzalez. Gabriela is an academically strong student who consistently demonstrates a strong work ethic. She's actively involved in a variety of activities, including the book club, the fall play, math league, and the National Honor Society. In addition, she serves as a peer leader and a Project Connect student guide, supporting and mentoring others in our school community, and we can't wait to see what you do in the future. Way to go, Gabriela.
All right, so congratulations to all the students of the month. Let's give everyone a nice big round of applause. All right, we're going to take about a 5 to 10 minute break right now, and we invite you to take family photos or individual shots. This is double-sided, so there's another logo on the back, but take your time, enjoy the evening, and get some great photos. And I know some of the teachers are here, so thank you so much for being here and supporting your students. Congratulations, everyone.
What's that? Sure. Okay, everyone, welcome back. We are back in here, so we are moving on to item number 6, the budget hearing. So there will be a budget presentation in the first part of item 6, and then after the budget presentation and discussion, there'll be time for public comment on the budget hearing items, on the budget hearing only. So while we're getting the projector ready, let me just get out of the way here. Dun, da, da, da.
Good evening. So we are here. It is May 5th. We are here for our annual budget hearing. I'm going to do a presentation, which is a overview of the same information that was presented in March. We had a good discussion in March about where we were as a district financially, what we needed to do to keep us moving in a positive direction. And now we are here to finalize that. We have submitted the budget that you approved in March to the county office. The county was supportive of it and approved the budget, so we are here to say, yes, this is our budget for next year. So let's talk a little bit about what we plan to do with this presentation. It'll be a little bit briefer than the last one. I'm still going to talk about the budget process and timeline, about how the budget is designed to support the goals of the district, talk a little bit about revenues and expenses, and then the tax impact on the community. So here's a timeline. Each time we talk, we check off some more boxes. This process begins in October, November, when we start talking with all the budget managers about what things they foresee needing for the following year. December, they submit everything. January, we review it. February, we review and we talk with the BOE through the operations committee about it. And then in March, we have our presentation. And the final step, this is the final stamp to say this is our official budget for the 26-27 school year, is right now. All right, these are our 4 goals. This slide has been on the screen many, many times over the past year. It talks about the way that we've kind of directed how we are operating as a district, the things that are important and what our focus is. We have 4 areas that we've been focused on: academic success, student wellness and climate, operational efficiency, and community engagement. And so as we put the budget together, these were the things that we had conversations about, and these are the things that led to decisions about what things to keep in and what things to take out. Just a reminder of where we are with revenues. As an aside, I'll just remind the board and the community that this was a tough year. This is a very tough year. We had a 38% increase in healthcare costs. We had other costs that are just increasing through your regular CPI. And we had to figure out how to make this work. We were fortunate enough to get an increase from state aid, but still, with that increase from state aid, we still had to go above the 2% local tax levy. And as a reminder, the state has a formula that they calculate, and based on their formula, our adequacy budget would have us increasing by about 8.5% this year. And furthermore, when you look at the 2% cap levy formula, which is 2% plus some adjustments, we were actually eligible to go up as much as 13%. And the board and the administration did not see that as the right way to go. And we said, we need to figure out how to make this work with not going crazy. But unfortunately, the costs are such that we could not stick to just the 2% increase. What we have is this local increase is matching the state increase, and that they're both 6%. The other numbers on this screen are things we kind of don't really have as much control over. Federal aid is something that we're given that number every year. The miscellaneous revenues I have a little bit of control, and part of how I balanced this budget was looked at the miscellaneous revenues for the past couple of years and noticed that what I had been budgeting was below what we actually brought in. And so I was able to increase our expected amount for miscellaneous revenues by $330,000. So that helped not have to cut something or not have to raise taxes more. So that helped out with that. And then on the bottom, this is our withdrawal from reserves and our budgeted fund balance. These are the budgeted fund balance is a number that comes from the audit, and every year when we finish our audit, they say here's the amount that you have to include in the following year's budget. And so those numbers are part of how we performed in prior years. And on the appropriation side, here's where we're spending the money in this budget. Again, our focus has really been we don't really want to decrease anything we're doing for the students. And second to the students would be the staff and the support of the staff. And so you can see general education and special education both have an increase in appropriations this year. Where we were able to cut back so that we wouldn't have to increase the local tax levy more than we did were in facilities and in administrative costs and in just other costs, which is like all of the other stuff that doesn't fit into these buckets. And so everything in those categories got trimmed. We looked at what things we could do without, and we were able to make it work with the 6% local tax levy plus the 6% state aid increase. So that's the story of our revenues and appropriations. This is the balanced budget slide. Every year I say the same thing. This is my favorite slide because it tells you everything and nothing at once. All it really shows is that our revenues match our appropriations, which has to happen or the state would not approve our budget. But this is just an overview of all that. So with that said, let's talk about the tax impact. If you look at the tax levy column, this is the third column from the left, you'll see at the bottom that it's showing a 5.7% increase. I just announced that we are doing a 6% local tax levy increase. So the reason why it's only showing 5.7 is that there are two parts to the local tax levy. There's the general fund tax levy, which is the bulk, and then there's the debt service tax levy, and that's paying back debt from prior referenda. And so the debt service part of the tax levy did not increase. That's why the average for the total tax levy increase is a little under 6%. What this slide shows you is that for the averaged assessed home, the estimated increase for school tax will be about $400. And if you don't have that average home, which is $498,587, and you'd like to figure out about where your house would be, you can take the number at the bottom, $79.83 per $100,000 of assessed value. So for every 100,000, you add another $79.83, and that will get you to the number that would be the increase for your household. All right, and that's pretty much it for today. This is just a kind of a summary of what we talked about. We did spend a lot more time in March, and again, I will answer questions first from the board, and then when we're finished with this, we'll open it up for public comment, for comments from the public on the budget. Just a reminder that this budget does represent a continued commitment to supporting all students, sustained support for the development and implementation and improvement of all staff. As I said, those are our first two things, first students, and then 1B is our staff, and 1C is our umbrellas. And then a commitment to parent community engagement. We have been working with a lot of different systems and mechanisms and had a lot of conversations about how to continue to do that. Our CPIS is a phenomenal resource that we're happy to be able to continue with that community resource. And then finally, funding and planning for facilities-related needs. Now, I did say that we decreased the facilities budget. That was kind of where we were able to make some cuts. However, I don't want to give the wrong impression. We do have money budgeted for facilities. We just had to make priority decisions on what things can wait another year or two and what things we really need to do next year. And so that's how we made that work. And so with that, are there any questions from board members?
Yes. I know you did a lot of work to find us a bank account, a savings account that gives us better performance. So that was very helpful in order to increase some of the revenue that we have. But with the current climate of the economy worldwide, do we see that same return on investment coming in for next year?
It is declining, but it's still,
Better than before, right?
Yeah, better than before, and it's kind of flattened. What I've been watching it, and it seems to have flattened out a little bit. I don't know. I can't predict the future. I can tell you that when I said I increased our revenue, anticipated revenue by $330,000 in miscellaneous, which would be the bank interest and that wasn't the full amount of what we received over what I had budgeted. I was kind of in the middle. I said, well, I don't want to assume that we're going to get all of the same revenues we got this year, but I can say we are going to get more than I had been budgeting.
Yeah, so thank you for the work on that. So I'm just understanding, you're just being conservative with the revenues. So in case of any other market fluctuations with the current climate, we can still work through that.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yep.
The other item is the increased cost in energy rates and where we are in this state.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see impact on that on the budget for next year?
Hopefully not. We had a big impact on that last year, and it was predicted. We were given that information in January before the current year's budget. And kind of like what we did with the health benefits this year, we did the same kind of an analysis and said, okay, how are we going to cover this? It was like a 25% increase in energy costs. One of the things we have going for us is that as we are replacing units, we have cycles of things that come in and out. We have been able to take advantage of some energy saving opportunities. So some of our new HVAC units do operate more efficiently than ones that they replaced. So that 25% didn't really come to fruition, but it did increase, but not quite as much as was predicted because of those energy savings. And we're continuing to look for more of those projects.
Yeah, just extend our thanks to you and your staff for finding these cost savings elements, and hopefully more people will understand like the work that everyone's put into this.
Thank you. Two things I just wanted to mention. One, that especially for the public, that this presentation is up on the website. And also, if you go past the question mark, there is the appendix. And these are basically the slides from the last presentation that weren't part of today's presentation. But we thought it would be helpful to have them there in case you wanted to review some of the things we talked about last time. So these slides are not part of today's presentation, but they are on the presentation that's on the website in case you wanted to go back and look at any of that information. All right. Any other questions from the board? All right, well, thank you very much for your support, and we are now going to move to Dr. Gendrano will open up for public comments.
Yes. Well, I'll just stay here then.
Want me to stay at the mic?
Just in case, yeah.
Just in case. Okay.
So at this time,
Well, you know what? I kind of can't because the public has to come up here. So I guess I should check this. I'll stay over here. I'll put my mic.
so at this point, we'll move to item 6B, public comments on budget hearing items only. So if you have a comment that you'd like to make, please come to the podium at this time, state your name and municipality, and we'd love to hear what you have as a comment.
Hi, Kimberly Green, Dunellen. I don't know if I missed it on the budget, but is there just too short? Kimberly Green, Dunellen. Can you hear me? I might have missed a line item, but I'm curious of what our legal fees were for the year between either lawsuits or due process for the special education department. And I understand you might not be able to answer all that now, but that was the question.
Yeah, just first of all, I will take direction from the board president. Technically, this is public comment, so we're not back and forth, but I have no problem answering questions if you would like me to. So, at the end. Okay, so.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Ask if there's any other comments.
So at this time, are there any other public comments on the budget? Last call? Okay, I think we're good. So, Mr. Pepe?
Okay. So that specific budget line is not something that's part of what's presented to the board, what's that line is part of a bigger section. It's called General Administration, or Function 230. I can tell you that historically we've been in the area of $50,000. It has been, there was a blip one year for a settlement agreement that cost us some extra, but that's been right around where we've been.
Motion to approve 6C.
Seconded.
Okay, we are open for questions or comments from the board. I know we just had questions and comments, but last chance, last call.
I actually have a comment.
Are you on?
I don't know.
Okay, I guess I'm just not here.
Maybe not.
Okay, all right.
Hello.
You're on. You're on.
Okay, all right. I just want to say thank you to Mr. Pepe and Mr. Ross in regards to the budget. As an educator, I'm watching my own district go through these exact same things, and this is not just subjective to Dunellen. This is all across the state where the budget is become a big concern. Taxes being raised, layoffs, rifts. So I just want to say thank you to making sure that this budget did not affect personally having to let go of staff. As a taxpayer, I understand I don't want my taxes to go up either, but we also have to look at the needs of the children in our district. This budget was the most comprehensive budget we could have. In other districts, they are raising taxes up to 17, 18, 20%. So I just want to applaud you for all of your hard work, and thank you.
Board members, any other comments, questions? And I too would like to echo the sentiment for all of the hard work that you put into this. I know that this began, in October, November? And here we are, the many discussions that we've had along the way, a lot of hard discussions, a lot of difficult discussions. But I think at the end of the day, we reached a place where, as Ms. Schimpf mentioned, a place where I think we found balance. So, thank you. All right, last call. Okay, so, Mr. Pepe, can you please call the roll?
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Ms. Ibach?
Yes.
Dr. Gendrano?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mrs. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Satinoy?
Yes.
Ms. Schimpf?
Yes.
Mrs. Shep?
Yes.
And we have a budget.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful. Okay, moving on to item number 7, President's Remarks. So good evening, everyone. So first of all, I wanted to take a moment to congratulate all the students again who are recognized this evening. We are so proud of your accomplishments. Keep up the great work. Again, I wanted to take a moment to recognize Mr. Ross, Mr. Pepe, administrators, teachers, staff, and anyone I may have missed who was instrumental in crafting a lean, well-thought-through budget that we did just vote on. And thank you again for your team, you and your team for your diligence and hard work. I did want to take the opportunity to say a few words that there was a town hall on the 22nd of April, and I had the opportunity to speak on behalf of the Mayor's Cannabis Task Force. This is my 4th year on the task force and can convey that after reviewing all available data to date, we reaffirm the recommendation to Council that Dunellen should continue to opt out of the cannabis businesses in Dunellen. Just in case you missed it, that's one of the dual roles, I guess, that I dual hats that I wear, representing the board. So I also wanted to mention recently, Ms. Moore, Mr. Mitchell, and I participated in the NJSBA School Public Relations Forum on April 24th. Just to give you a little bit of context, in this session, the first session, there was a topic, designing systems that save time and strengthen trust. In the second general session, the topic was AI, how does it make the job easier? And then the balance of the day took us to different breakout sessions focusing on social media do's and don'ts, communications planning and the website, branding and tools, and newsletters, outreach, and community. Each of the three of us, we jumped into one of them and those sessions, and we'll share some reflections during New Business later this evening. Overall, it was a very enlightening event that provided us with a good many ideas to consider as a board. I had the pleasure of attending the DHS Honor Roll ceremony on April 21st, as well as the LMS Honor Roll ceremony on April 24th, honoring our high school and middle school students and their tremendous academic achievements. I was quite proud to see the great number of students being recognized who made honor roll and high honor roll. And congratulations to all the honor roll students. I did also want to note here that Tricky Tray occurred this past Saturday on the 2nd of May, and as I understand it, it was another successful event. Congratulations to the PTO and all those who helped to make it such a great success. I do also want to note that this is Teacher Appreciation Week, and thank you to all of our teachers for the great work that you do. And in case we forgot or didn't remember, Mother's Day is this weekend, and thank you to all the mothers for shaping the world. Behind all of our own stories is our mother's story, because it is her story where ours begins. Thank you, moms. Staying healthy. As the weather changes again and the temperatures jump like a yo-yo, like 80 degrees today and 40 degrees tomorrow, it is important to reiterate and underscore that healthy kids means healthy schools, which means a healthy community. Bottom line, we encourage you to take the common sense precautions to minimize the spread of infectious diseases that can really impact our school year. As I've been doing for months on end now, recognizing our monthly celebrations. So in May, we celebrate Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, Jewish American Heritage Month, Mental Health Awareness Month, National Children's Mental Health Awareness Day, which is on May 7th. And this is to highlight the significance of children's mental health and promote positive mental well-being for young people. There's also an International Day Against Homophobia, Transphobia, and Biphobia Day. That's on the 17th of May. And on this day, we reflect upon the violence and the discrimination lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and intersex persons worldwide suffer and recommit ourselves to opposing these acts. This year, like every year, we state unequivocally, LGBTQI persons deserve recognition of their universal human rights and human dignity. Of course, Memorial Day on the 26th of May, or I think it's the 26th, or the Memorial Day, which commemorates all men and women who have died in military service for the United States. I mention all of this, as I do, to underscore how important diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging are to our lives and the world around us. With diversity, we're able to welcome and appreciate different views and perspectives and how that makes our lives richer and stronger. Equity is important, so we are all playing on the same field by the same rules. Inclusion is key, so there is equal access to opportunities and resources for everyone. And with belonging, you feel you're being part of something, a group or a community where you are accepted, valued, and comfortable. You fit in and are an important part of the whole. These things have an unbelievable impact on our community. Open, honest, and genuine communication that is respectful, positive, supportive, fair, and most of all kind goes a long way in strengthening a community. Lastly, we are about 6 weeks away from wrapping up another great year. As we participate in the many events this month and next, please take a moment to appreciate all the little moments from this year that added up to something truly significant. Let's celebrate all of our students as they make their push into the home stretch of the year. Thank you, everyone, for your time and listening. Moving on to the superintendent's report. Mr. Ross?
Thank you, Dr. Gendrano. We do not have our students here this month, unfortunately. Neither was able to attend. So we'll move on to other items for discussion, and we'll begin with the construction report. So I'll pass the mic over to Mr. Pepe.
Okay.
Okay, the construction report. Yep, the construction report is online for anyone who'd like to follow along or read it later. And it was on my screen before, and it isn't now. Give me 1 second. Come on. Okay, there it is. So every month the construction report begins with section 1, which is project background. That's the same paragraph as it was from day 1, except for the one thing I had to correct that was incorrect in my first one. And then the second section is a recap, which really just gives you a link back to the district website so you could go through all of the construction updates if you'd like to see what we've talked about in the past. All right, section 3 is just an outline of meetings that have occurred since the last construction update. The way this one worked out, we only had 3 weeks between board meetings, and there was a construction meeting right before the last board meeting, and there's a construction meeting 2 days from now. So there was only one, which these meetings happen every other week. So there's only one construction meeting that occurred since the last board meeting. That was on April 23rd. These construction meetings are where the contractor, the architect, the construction management company, and the district get together in person, some people virtually if they can't be there, and we just talk through the progress of the project and any things that need to be addressed and decided, and it's a very important meeting that we have every 2 weeks. All right, so some general updates. I have, the last time I gave some stats. The stats haven't changed as far as how far they've completed with excavation installation of footings and concrete. However, they have started, they have made some progress. More backfilling has occurred. If you could see inside the construction zone, you'd see that it's getting very close to being ready for them to start building upwards. There's also some new work that has started on the where the stairwells are going to be and where the elevator is going to be. So that excavation has begun. There's some significant demolition work specific to HVAC units that has occurred since the last meeting. And then things that are going to be happening are continued installation of the footings and piers, continued demolition work, continued excavation of the stairwells and elevator sites. Also, they're starting now, the next thing they're starting is to run electric and plumbing, and that should be starting this week. Project status, we still don't have a specific update because the steel fabrication is pending. We're waiting for the steel company to get back to us with an estimated arrival date of the steel. There were some things that came up along the way that had some questions, things that had to be answered, tweaked, and so it's a little bit behind, but we don't know exactly how far behind yet. Once we receive that estimated delivery date for the steel, we'll come up with we'll reassess the project schedule and get a sense of how far along we are. The last section is allowance authorizations and change orders. And allowance authorizations are, both of these are things that occur, that come up that weren't foreseen when the bid happened. Things that maybe we changed the scope, or things we didn't know needed to happen when we go into the ground. Sometimes you discover there's pipes that need to be rerouted that you didn't know about, or there's certain types of materials that need to be addressed. So as you go through a construction project, these kinds of things happen. Every construction project has change orders. In our case, we're using two phrases, allowance authorization and change order. And the allowance authorization is basically a change order that happens that doesn't add any cost to the total project. And the reason for that is when the project is bid, there is a built-in allowance. In our case, it was $250,000. So the first $250,000 of change orders doesn't impact the amount that was awarded for the whole contract. If we go through all of that, then there will be regular change orders that will increase from the original bid. We're hoping not to get to that point, but with construction, that is a pretty common occurrence. And that is my construction update.
Great. Thank you very much, Mr. Pepe. The next item on the superintendent's report is the report of the NJQSAC process. The NJQSAC process is a governance process that occurs every 3 years for school districts across the state. It is the Quality Single Accountability Continuum. And this process was done in Dunellen in 23-24 during that school year. And at that time, there are 5 QSAC areas They are instruction and program, fiscal management, governance, operations, and personnel. And basically, this is sort of the state's determination of how well the district is following laws and regulations and the code, and then also how students are performing and how they're growing from one-year assessment to another. When the assessment was done in the district at that time, we had 100% score for fiscal management, governance, and personnel, and a 91% for operations. Our instruction and program score was 78%, which was due to the outcomes of the state assessments and the 2023 state assessment. At that time, we were instructed to put together a district improvement plan, which is known as a DIP, and we approved the DIP and went through 2 cycles of that, and very, very pleased to announce that due to the growth scores our students have performed from last spring's NJSLA assessment, we were able to get the instruction and program score over to 81%, which gives us now the high-performing designation for a school district. This is really the testament of excellent systematized academic improvement work that's been done at each of the buildings. Faber has, as I've reported in the past, has exceptionally high MSGPs, which is the student growth percentiles, among the highest in the county. And the middle school is showing improvements as well, and we expect to see more improvements there. And so I'm very proud of the team, and this is going to be now recognized at the State Board of Education meeting that's happening later this month, and then we'll get back on the cycle when it is our turn again. But this is excellent news, and just wanted to make sure that that was reported and shared with the public. Other items from the superintendent's report. Last Friday, we announced the Educators of the Year and at each of the buildings, and 1 educational specialist for the entire district. These folks will be recognized publicly at our next meeting on June 9th. They are from Dunellen High School, CJ Sutera, who is our instrumental music teacher. From Lincoln Middle School, Kate Bexa, who is a special education teacher. From Faber Elementary School, Amy Bottolato, who is a 2nd grade teacher. And our ed specialist was Margaret Gamble, who is a school counselor at Faber. One of the sort of really interesting things about these amazing educators is that Ms. Bexa is in her 28th year in the district, and the other 3 are all non-tenured staff members. So CJ is in his 4th year, Ms. Bottolato is in her 4th year, and Ms. Gamble is in her 3rd year. And just so proud of these folks. They are absolute shining lights within each of their schools and across the district, just incredibly helpful to their peers, to their colleagues. They serve their schools very well, and obviously each of them has sort of a forward-facing community identity as well. Very excited to celebrate them next month at the board meeting, and the administrators will be here to speak on their behalf and share some of the amazing things that earned them the Educator of the Year recognition. So congratulations to those 4 folks. We have appreciation days. We've had a couple over the last bunch of weeks. Right now, this is Teacher Appreciation Week. We're in day 2, and I want to thank the PTO for supporting the staff at each of the buildings. Teacher Appreciation Week is a time to sort of stop and pause to recognize the amazing work of our educators at each of the buildings, the sacrifices that they make, the contributions that they make, and really, these are the folks that have the highest impact on the outcomes of students and the way that students feel about themselves and progress throughout the years of anybody in the school district. So this is a nice opportunity to congratulate them and celebrate our amazing staff. On May 1st, we had National School Principals Day, which is, again, an opportunity to celebrate our 3 school principals. And then on April 22nd, a couple weeks ago, we had Administrative Professionals Day, which at each of the buildings and in central office was an opportunity to give thanks to the folks that kind of make the engines run, our administrative professionals who do so much of the clerical and support work, and business office work and human resources and school main offices. And so we're very, very grateful for all of those folks and glad to be able to celebrate them. We have also on tonight's agenda, we have the renewal of all of our non-tenured staff members. This is DEA members, some non-aligned folks, and some DAA members as well. I want to congratulate everybody who is on the renewal list. You know, those folks were notified that they would be renewed, and you know, they are all, to a person, folks who have really contributed extremely well to the district, and we look forward to their return next year. And then last but not least, before the enrollment report, I just want to mention the bike rodeo. The bike rodeo is Thursday, partnership with the borough and Keep Middlesex Moving. We have a really great event planned out. This is going to be at Faber. It's from 5 to 7 p.m. in the Horseshoe there. We'll have activities, bike helmet decorating, safety pledges, and a really cool obstacle course that the kids will be able to run through using their bicycles. So that's May 7th. That's this Thursday coming up from 5 to 7. And I'll finish with the enrollment report. The enrollment report as of this meeting, we have 56 students in pre-K in Faber, plus another 86 in our private providers. So we're over 140 preschool students. We have 94 kindergartners, 89 first graders, 87 second graders, 94 third graders, 93 fourth graders, 90 fifth graders, 96 graders, 110 seventh graders, 116 eighth graders, 110 ninth graders, 94 10th and 11th graders, and 111 seniors, which brings the total district population, including our private pre-K providers, to 1,414 students, which again is up among the most that we've ever had in the district. And that concludes my superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Ross. So moving along to item number 9, public comments on agenda action items to be voted on only. So in accordance with policy 0167, the Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on school matters of community interest. At this time, the Board invites public comment on agenda action items to be voted on only. The Board and Administration will take notes during public comment, but will not provide substantive responses to questions or concerns raised by individual speakers. If necessary, the Superintendent may provide a brief response after the entire public comment period is completed. The Board appreciates and welcomes feedback from the community, but is not at liberty to engage in a back-and-forth dialogue with members of the public during this portion of the meeting. Prior to making your public comment, please state your name and municipality. Please note that all statements must be directed to the presiding officer. Please come to the microphone at this time if you would like to make comments on agenda action items to be voted on only. Prior to beginning your comment, please state the action item to be voted on that you would like to comment on. Last call for comments? Okay. Moving along to item number 10, committee reports. At this time, we're going to go through A through E, starting with our Education Committee. I will turn the floor over to Ms. Eibach, our Education Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Gendrano. The Education Committee met on April 30th at 6 p.m. Those present were myself, Ms. Moore, Ms. Schimpf, Dr. Gendrano, Ms. Drapkin, and Mr. Ross. The committee discussed a number of items, including a wide range of staff professional development, coaching, and curriculum-related activities occurring throughout the district, information related to ongoing grant work across the 3 schools, including the district obtaining the next round of the Climate Literacy and Innovative Opportunity Grant, which will provide funding to support the creation of an aquaponics structure at LMS, updates regarding the preschool registration process for the 26-27 school year, and a variety of other items and confidential matters. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you very much. Love that aquaponics. That's going to be cool. So moving on to 10B, Personnel. Turn the floor over to Ms. Shep, the Chair of the Personnel Committee.
Thank you. The Personnel Committee met on April 30th at 8 p.m. Present were myself, Mr. Anderson, Dr. Gendrano, and Mr. Ross. The Personnel Committee discussed a number of items, including updates about the evaluation process for non-tenured staff members, information about the district's partnership with NJCTL to support staff members earning additional NJDOE endorsements, and a number of confidential items.
Thank you, Ms. Shep. Moving on to 10C, operations. That would be me. So the Operations Committee met on April 30th. In attendance were myself, Mr. Mitchell, Mr. Satinoy, Mr. Pepe, and Mr. Ross. And we discussed a number of items, including details related to the 2026-2027 budget hearing tonight, which was presented tonight, updates related to the Universal Pre-K Expansion Facilities Project, discussion about board approvals and insurance policies, updates on other construction projects occurring throughout the district, security and reunification information, and a variety of confidential matters. Moving on to 10D, policy. We don't have any updates there. And 10E, negotiations, we'll be discussing later. So moving on to item 11, approval of minutes. Looking for a motion to approve the minutes from our April 14th board meeting.
Move to approve minutes from the board meeting.
Second.
Open for questions, comments? Last call. Okay, Mr. Pepe, can you please call the roll?
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Ms. Ibeck?
Yes.
Dr. Gendrano?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mrs. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Satinoy?
Yes.
Ms. Schimpf?
Yes.
Mrs. Shep?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Wonderful. Moving on to item number 12, board action items. So again, we're in the structure where we have all of our education, personnel, and operation action items together under item number 12. So looking for a motion to approve 12.
Move to approve item number 12.
Second.
Open for questions or comments?
I do have a question on 12A4. The resources that are highlighted here, are they physical textbooks or is this electronic packages?
So the core resources that are listed are in some cases digital only, and in some cases we are purchasing classroom sets of textbooks so that kids do have the ability to access a textbook. I think gone are the days where every student takes the textbook home.
Right. I just want to reduce the weight of the backpacks for the kids.
Yeah, yeah.
And also, if utilizing the electronic version can be a lot more cost effective than the physical textbooks, just wanted to see if there are some opportunities there. Because I know with McGraw-Hill and their push to compete with some of the other publishing companies which are moving to full electronic and utilizing the Amazon model where it's more of a rental to reduce the costs, I think the students today will be they'll have a better way to research material faster, to get to answers faster through electronic version.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's clearly the case that textbooks, you know, the way of education has gone digital. And at the same time, we recognize that not every student has great access to internet at home and access to the types of resources that would allow them to do that work there. In the classroom, it's also nice to have books that are more tactile that kids can use in some cases. So there's a mixture, and these particular ones, in conversation with the staff members in these particular areas, there was a desire to have some physical textbooks, although again, largely things are done electronically, and Google Classroom is obviously very strongly used.
Yeah, some of these kids could probably do well in the infantry with the amount of textbooks they're carrying in their backpacks.
Go for a nice ruck. I also would just like to point out in the operations section, number 7, which is the meal prices, that this represents for next year no increase from the current year, but it's actually no increase even from the 23-24 school year. So this is now the 4th year in a row that we will be able to keep the meal prices the same. So I think that's a great sign for us.
Just a comment on that. I also appreciate the fact that we found a way to relieve the surcharge fee on credit card purchases. So that's an important piece to also highlight on cost savings.
Any other comments? I did want to note, if there are no other comments, item 15B, that we have a great many, staff travel for professional development. You know, so I think that's wonderful. I think it's not a new record, but it's still a lot. So I like it. 19, I believe, this time around, but this has been consistent, which I think is wonderful. And the second point I'd like to bring up is B3. And I just wanted to highlight that with B3, we will be approving Dr. Johanna Roberto as interim superintendent effective July 1st. So just wanted to make sure we were all, highlighting that fact. I know, yes. And I want to just thank Dr. Roberto for being here. There you are. Any other questions, comments? Air conditioned? Oh, okay. So should we put that into the notes to turn off the air conditioner? Yeah. Okay. All right, so with no other comments or questions, Mr. Pepe, could you please call the roll?
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Ms. Ibeck?
Yes.
Dr. Gendrano?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mrs. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Satinoy?
Yes.
Ms. Schimpf?
Yes.
And Mrs. Shep?
Yes, however, abstaining from A to 1.
Okay, motion passes.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. And congratulations, Dr. Roberto. Us too. All right, moving on to item number 13, old business. Is there any other business from previous meetings that we should bring up? Rehash? Okay, moving along. Item number 14, any new business? I have two items if no one has any other items to discuss. So I just wanted to mention that we will have to, for the first item in the superintendent search, we're going to have to work on some dates, I think. So I believe that it would have been, the search firm, we would like to have a public kickoff, if you will, of what they're going to be doing. And it seemed rushed to try to squeeze it in this evening, so we will look to have potentially another date to be able to do that on. So I do have some dates from them that I can share with us online, and for hopefully we can get that date on the calendar, get those dates on the calendar for upcoming meetings and events. So just want to make sure that we were all aware that that's coming your way. Second thing I wanted to bring up is I alluded to earlier in the president's remarks about the public relations forum. So, Ms. Moore, did you want to start?
Thank you, Dr. Dendrano. Yeah, as I said, we attended this the public relations forum. The first session was led by the Edison, I believe it was the Director of Communications. She helped lead the discussion, discussing the importance of communication as an ecosystem, a system of tools and routines designed to work together to keep everyone informed. She defined some of the important roles of various forms of communication. School website being the source of truth, place for people to go to get the information. The mass communication platforms like Parent Square, providing timely, consistent communications with families. Social media being the visibility and celebration and helping to reinforce everything going on in schools. Newsletters to providing context, narratives, explaining the why we're doing everything that we're doing. And then two-way communications to help building a dialogue of trust amongst, the school and the community. She had suggested a few things that they do within their district that may be things to consider. They do an Ask Me Anything on their YouTube channel where people can submit questions and the superintendent or members of administration can help answer to provide some guidance so the parents can understand a little bit more of what is going on. Doing, newsletters that include like Q&As with teachers so that parents can learn more about the staff within the district, just going-ons. She also mentioned they do QR codes for parents to be able to submit feedback after, to provide input and concerns after webinars, seminars, meetings. So when the school is doing these big meetings to provide information to parents, they provide a QR code to get some anonymous feedback to help guide and see what more could be done or some better way, better information that may be needed. She also talked about how AI can help strengthen the infrastructure, using AI to help as a thought partner, not writing the messages, but helping clarify and keep it clear, which then led into session 2, which was about AI, using tools to help with administrative tasks, saying how they were talking about how AI can help prevent some of the burnout of educators. Educators may be able to use AI to help with some of the administrative tasks. They're saying some of it can, about 30 to 40, they estimated 30 to 45% of the administrative tasks can be done by AI to help tasks be completed faster, to help things move along so that it helps to prevent some of that burnout. So that was about the AI. And then we went into our breakout sessions. I attended the newsletters, outreach, and community. And some of the suggestions, the school district, I forget which district it was that led it, they do a newsletter. There was one that does a newsletter twice a year. There was one that does a newsletter, I think, quarterly, where they allow community members, not just parents, to subscribe so that the community can start to see what is going on in the district. And you use those newsletters just to promote all of the good, the student achievements, successes in sports, and whatnot. So it was a very good seminar, a lot of good ideas, some things that hopefully we can find a way to bring into Dunellen. So, thank you. And, yeah.
Oh, okay. So as I mentioned before, this is the brief summary of some of the things that we heard. So there were 4 of these breakout sessions. So the one that Ms. Moore mentioned was the one on newsletters, outreach, and community. Mr. Mitchell was also there. He attended the social media do's and don'ts, correct? So if you wouldn't mind just giving us a few words on what you gleaned from there, and we could certainly go into more detail later. But
So I attended the social media do's and don'ts portion of the forum. Some of the topics discussed were social media as a part of communications plan. Also, who manages social media guidelines and content, handling misinformation, and board members and First Amendment rights. There were a number of key takeaways, and if I can sum it up, just don't do it. That's it.
very well stated, very succinct. Appreciate that. So I don't think any of us went to, and the 3 of us, we did not go to branding and tools because we were only 3, and all these 4 breakout sessions were going concurrently in parallel. But I did attend the breakout session for communications planning and website. And it was a very interesting topic about, we had one of the school communication officers, I think it was, and this is a person that actually is very much involved in developing the websites. That particular session was very heavily laden on, heavily emphasizing ADA compliance. I was actually quite, we spent a good amount of time on that. And I was surprised to learn that there is, I believe it's a law where all school districts, the websites, have to be compliant, ADA compliant by April of 2027. Initially it was April of 2026, but that was moved back a year recently for all the different school districts to be able to comply. Not to go into the details, but there was a lot of things that, they showed us in terms of what is compliant, what's not, what things to avoid. I mean, we had a conversation on the 7 best fonts to use on a website. I mean, it was pretty cool. But to just sum up, one of the phrases or one of the things that came out of that session was, your website is your face to the world. And we want to be able to make sure that it's informative, but it's also inclusive. So I'll just leave it there. We can go into further details at a later date in committee to go on. But there was, like I said, there were a lot of things that we learned amongst the three of us during that session, and look forward to sharing that with you in future committee meetings. So,
Can I just add,
please,
one thing? So at the beginning, Mrs. Moore mentioned that this was the Public Relations Forum, but I just want to make sure all the board members and the public knows that it's the New Jersey School Boards Association.
Sorry, thank you.
Right, that provides this, and just to remind the board members to be checking your emails, because school board sends emails about these types of things all the time. If you find something that you think you might be interested in going to, please email me. I'm the concierge for the school board's training sessions. So.
Right. And just like there's professional development and additional learning for other folks in the district, this is also a way for us to learn as well. I think our next event is, on the 20th, right? I think it's the...
That's the Middlesex County School Boards Association meeting is May 20th.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So, and I know that I think the three of us are going to that as well. So, okay. Any questions, guys, comments on that before we move along?
I do have a question in terms of new items. I see that we've done a lot of investment with the local police to do reunification. But right now, and this is something I've kind of voiced before, the reunification drills that we're doing is very specific use case or scenario. I just want to see if we can look at other scenarios for unification. One of the main ones, because we're so power hungry and for energy to unite, everyone's got a cell phone, but what if you have no power? So scenarios like that where it adds a big twist, and losing power is probably a lot more of a possibility than other scenarios.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you, Ms. Anoy. All right. Any other comments, questions, or new business that anyone wants to bring up?
I do just want to say, you had mentioned the tricky tray before, but I do want to make sure that I say thank you to everybody involved with that. This is months and months of work. It was a very successful event. We are waiting for the final numbers, but based on preliminary numbers, it looks like it may be the most successful one we've done yet. It is definitely over $30,000. We're just waiting to see what the actual final number is.
Wow.
But yeah, very successful. Thank you to everyone involved. And we'll do it all again next year.
Okay. Any last items? All right. Moving on to item number 15, President's Remarks. I think I've said enough, so I'll move on to item 16, Public Comments on any school-related issue or topic. In accordance with policy 0167, the Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on school matters of community interest. At this time, the Board invites public comment on any school-related issue or topic. The Board and administration will take notes during public comment, but will not provide substantive responses to questions or concerns raised by individual speakers. If necessary, the superintendent may provide a brief response after the entire public comment period is completed. The board appreciates and welcomes feedback from the community, but is not at liberty to engage in a back-and-forth dialogue at this time with the members of the public during this portion of the meeting. Prior to making your public comment, please state your name and municipality. Please note that all statements must be directed to the presiding officer. Please come to the microphone at this time if you'd like to make comments on any school-related issue or topic.
Hi, Kimberly Green. I want to thank the board. There seems to be a shift with transparency and moving forward with the community, and I really appreciate that, and your efforts are noticed. Nicole, those were all great suggestions, and thank you, I appreciate it. I originally came to ask how the community can help the board, but as you see, there's nobody here. So I am calling out the community. What can we do as a community to help? I mean, you guys have a really difficult few months. So I just want you guys to see if there is a way we can help you and support you, and I will continue to work on the community needs to show up. So I just wanted to see if there's some way we could support you for all the work you do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Lisa Lidis Lands from Dunellen. So this is in regards to the new curriculum and anything that you're going to be purchasing in the future. I'm sure you're all aware of the new decision that's been made by the Los Angeles Board of Ed to start limiting the use of Chromebooks for their district. And so I know that this is a growing interest for parents, not only in LA, but even here in New Jersey. I know it was just mentioned that, we want to limit the strain on their backs with the textbooks, but there really is a concern for being able to have that pen and paper, to be able to just read through text, to be able to scan as you normally should, from left to right, crossing the midsection. And so these are all really important concerns as we consider the child and in the way that they develop. So moving forward, I'm just wondering if you will consider buying more textbooks, if Chromebooks or digital copies are the way that you're deciding to go moving forward, if this is something that you'll continue to consider as policies change throughout the country, just putting it in your ear, and I'm looking forward to hearing what's next. So.
Thank you. Any other comments? Last call? Okay. Moving on to item number 17, executive session. So the Dunellen Board of Education will now adjourn into executive session to discuss items that fall within specific exceptions to the Open Public Meetings Act, CNJSA 10-4-12B. The confidential matters discussed by the board during this executive session include items related to individual privacy, collective bargaining agreements, pending or anticipated litigation, and personnel. Any discussion that does not need to remain confidential will be made public as soon as it is practical. Minutes of the executive session will not be disclosed until the need for confidentiality no longer exists. All individuals who may be discussed in executive session have been adequately notified. Action will not take place after the conclusion of the executive session. So may I have a motion to move to executive session, please?
Move to go to exec.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. We are moving into executive session, and as we do, we will be adjourning from there. So you do not need to stick around and wait for us to come back. We will not be taking any actions after that session. So thanks, everyone. Our next scheduled board meeting is June 9th. Thank you.